I don't know. This here time can breathe, and I was born to see, and I was born to move, I was on the groove, baby, mama just can't stop.
Hello YouTube, this is The Bucket coming at you today with a new pistol that I just picked up at the Knapp Weaponry. I had it shipped in there, and that is the Ruger LCP. Now, Ruger has made an upgraded version of this gun. It's called the LCP2. It has some nice features that come along with it that this gun doesn't. But I wanted to go ahead and just go ahead and get this. You know, I've been doing some pistols that you can get very inexpensively, and the LCP is a little bit cheaper than the LCP2. I want to go ahead and talk with you guys about this gun. This gun is a 380 pistol, which means it shoots the 380 ACP bullet. Also called the 9mm Corto or the 9mm Kurtz. This is a 9x17 inch bullet. When you hear 9mm, colloquially, you're always being referred to by the 9mm Parabellum. So this bullet is dimensionally the same in the diameter of the actual projectile, but the case is shorter, which means there's less powder in the round. And this round was actually designed by John Moses Browning for this gun. This is a Colt 1908, often referred to as a pocket hammerless, which is kind of ironic because it has a hammer, it's just shrouded. This particular firearm was bought by my great-grandfather to teach his son, my grandfather, how to shoot. And I fell in love with this gun. This is the first gun I learned how to disassemble. It's the first gun that I learned how to clean a firearm with. The bluing's just gorgeous. This gun was made in the 1920s, so you know it's 100 years old, and it's a family heirloom. And I look forward to teaching my. I've actually had my children already shoot this gun, and I'm looking forward to teaching my grandchildren how to shoot this gun. And at that point, their great-grandfather's gun. So that's a cool thing about history, about firearms. It's something that you can pass down generationally, and this is a well-built firearm that it will make it. The Colt 1908, which is different from the Colt 1903, looked identical to this, but it shot the 32 ACP. And that bullet, that round, was kind of known for maybe not being super powerful, not having a lot of stopping power. But it worked on a direct blowback design, which is a less expensive and can be more accurate because the barrel doesn't move. And so he wanted to find out how much he could amp up a round and still be able to run in this particular setup. And he decided that 9x17 or the 380 ACP was the as much as a gun like this could handle. And so the Colt 1908 was the first gun that fired this new proprietary round. And the reason I kind of got the LCP is when I've talked to women that have wanted to purchase a firearm or have purchased a firearm, they've all told me that the gun stores really were pushing 380 for them. And I think the idea behind it, I think it's a you know, the idea is these guns are much smaller. The round is less powerful, and that would be easier for a woman to shoot. And I bought this pistol because I wanted to do something interesting. I wanted to bring to you the LCP2, but I also want to take a swing at, is 380 really have less felt recoil? And here's one of my concerns. This is my VP9SK, and I conceal and carry this, and this is what I carry every single day, and it's not a big gun, but when you compare it to this LCP, it looks absolutely massive. Well, physics will tell you that inertia, an object in motion tends to stay in motion, an object at rest tends to stay at rest. And a bigger gun is going to resist the recoil more. And since it's a wider grip, that force that comes into your hand is being distributed to more of your hand. And I am concerned that in a polymer gun like this with very little mass, and very small amount that's actually contacting your hand, that it may actually not have less felt recoil. So I am interested to try that out. And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to take this to the range and we're going to shoot it. But me shooting it is not really, I think, going to help. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the big baby bucket and the big middle baby bucket. I'm blessed with 4 beautiful daughters, and they're going to go ahead and shoot the VP9SK as a control, and they're going to shoot the LCP, and we're going to find out which one they would prefer to shoot. Because I think sometimes, a well-intentioned argument may actually end up pushing some people outside of the gun world, and I don't want that to happen. So enough about what we're going to do with our range review time. Let's talk about this firearm right here. This little baby gun is teeny tiny. So when I put it in my hand, I mean, I could kind of palm that gun. You can get 2 fingers on it. You're not going to get a 3rd finger on it. This does have a detachable box magazine. It does hold 6+1 in the chamber. This does not have a last round hold open, but one of the nice things they did do is they did put the lever on there that you could rack the slide back. So that is a nice feature that they have on it. You can drop the slide because it's designed for that extreme concealment. All the controls are real thin on it. The sights are just a trough and a post, which are not ideal. I'm gonna have to see if I can put some UGD loving on that front sight, see if I can get that to pick up a little bit easier. The trigger on this particular gun, it is long, it is stiff, but it does have a good clean break. What I would say is one of the things that I would really say is a downside on this gun is when you pull out the gun for the trigger reset and you hear that click, you want to go, and you actually haven't gone far enough. There's actually a second auditory and tactile grip, tactile in the trigger that you can feel it. And so I don't know why they have a double stage trigger like that. I think that for a shooter that is used to 99.99999 other firearms, that when they hear that first click, they're going to think that their trigger is ready to go, and that could cause some problems. So if you're going to have this firearm, you are going to need to train with it, and that is going to be very important. A disassembly on this is kind of like the Beretta carry, that you do need a tool, and you just put it back about 1/16 of an inch, and then it will just slide right up. You have to pull that pin and it'll slide right off. Now, what's kind of interesting about the LCP is when they designed it, they did not do a simple blowback. This is a Browning short recoil operated barrel, which will actually help with some of that recoil, because the act of moving the barrel and tilting it is actually going to take up some of that recoil impulse. So this should actually be better than some of the other direct blowback design guns. So this is made by Ruger. Ruger is kind of known of being a company that makes inexpensive firearms of extremely high quality. And you just look at this, look at that barrel. The treatment's perfect. Everything's really clean and tight. The feed ramp is polished well. The slide, you look at the machining marks, there's nothing in there. It's just designed really, really well. They take a great deal of pride in doing a very nice firearm. It does not have a captured recoil, but it does have a double spring recoil, which will be very nice for that firearm. It does assemble intuitively. I enjoy this particular firearm. It's done well. It looks like a little baby gun. When you reassemble it, you just put it back together. And if you look right here, you can see there's a little metal bar that is obstructing the gun. That's instructing the pin from being able to go in. So it says go ahead and get it started at an angle, and then it should just push right back in, and then check for functionality. This does not have a safety on it. Mags for this are not too expensive, but these are quality magazines. They're, it seems to be a good firearm. Now, why would somebody purchase this firearm other than if they're getting kind of pushed it? I have a buddy, the Goat Whisperer. He actually owns one of these guns, and I kind of asked him, I was like, man, why did you pick that? And he goes, I never leave the house without a gun because of this gun. If I'm in my workout shorts, this gun is so light that I can just go ahead and throw it in my pocket, and I never leave unarmed. And I'll be honest with you, with my particular carry, I have a nice Kydex holster for it, but I have to undo my pants, undo my belt, undo my pants, put the holster on, redo all that back up, put the gun in, and then when I get home, I have to pull it all off. I've got to do all that kind of work, and there are some times if I'm just running out of the house real quick that I'm not taking my firearm, and that's not good for compliance, and I should. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't all the time. He said, I never leave the house without at least one gun. And a 380 is a capable round. A 380 will stop, somebody from doing something you don't want them to do. And one of the really neat features that Ruger has is they give you a little holster, a little pocket holster. And that's really, really nice. It's a super nice get. They branded it. This will fit in your pocket real easy. It's got a nice texture to it, so if you needed to pull it, it would come out. I think you would need to leave it in there for a little while, let it stretch out. But it's a nice little addition that they give you to make your gun functional right out of the box. And while this does have a pretty stiff trigger, it's really akin to a double action trigger. I would feel better having something there that's protecting that trigger when I put my gun in and out of my pants. So I'm really excited to do this father-daughter time at the range. And I will get you some interesting information and range review about this, and you guys will get to meet the big baby bucket and the big middle baby bucket, and they'll tell you what they thought and how they voted, whether they like the small nature and the smaller round of the LCP, or if they're kind of like the bucket and would rather have a double stack 9mm in their hands. So thank you guys for listening to me. If you liked what you heard today, go ahead and hit the like button. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments. If you want to see a range review or more information about that cool Colt 1908, go ahead and put that in the comment. If you have a friend that is thinking about buying an LCP, go ahead and share that with them, and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll know whenever the bucket's dropping something new. And remember, stay classy, YouTube.
I learned a lesson. Never half-ass two things. Whole-ass one thing.